The AI Fixes theme song has been up on Spotify now for about 6 months. And I logged in this morning to see how much money it has earned through streaming. $2.30, Mark.
So you're saying we've had more than 3 million streams?
The AI fix a digital zoo. Smart machines, what will they do? Flies to Mars or bake a bad cake? World domination, a silly mistake. Bots with brains.
Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the AI Fix, your weekly dive headfirst into the bizarre and sometimes mind-boggling world of artificial intelligence. My name's Mark Stockley.
And I'm Graham Cluley. Now, Mark, what are you going to be talking about today?
I'm going to be asking if we're in an AI bubble.
And I'm going to be describing how it's not just the good guys that AI's making stuff up for. The bad guys suffer too.
But first, the news.
Don't panic. Alien robot spiders have not been found in Antarctica.
Minecraft in Minecraft.
AI-generated song tops country music chart.
If anyone builds it, everyone dies.
Is this the worst ad for an AI product yet?
F-22 fighter jet flies with loyal AI wingman for the first time.
Hang on, a fighter jet? What's going on there?
Yeah, the wingman is being driven by AI. So to understand this story fully, I'm a bit of a plane nerd, so I apologise.
Okay.
For the origins of this story, we have to go back to 1979.
Oh, bloody hell. Okay, go ahead.
So in 1979, the American aerospace engineer Norman R. Augustine suggested that the USA was so intoxicated with the idea of high-tech weapons and that the price of those weapons was going up so sharply every year that by 2054, the US would only be able to afford a single fighter jet.
Right.
He actually said in the year 2054, the entire defence budget will purchase just one aircraft. The aircraft will have to be shared by the Air Force and Navy 3.5 days a week, except for a leap year when it'll be made available to the Marines for the extra day.
I love it.
Well, I remember that from my childhood, but it's taken almost 50 years for the USA to actually prick up its ears and take notice.
Right.
Because it has started to think that he might be right. And it's starting to worry about having enough aircraft to perpetuate what it calls a near-peer conflict, which is defense code for war with China over Taiwan. And so the US has come up with this idea of the Loyal Wingman, which is an AI-powered fighter jet drone controlled from a regular fighter jet.
Right.
And the idea is that each fighter jet will charge into battle with a squadron of much cheaper Loyal Wingmen that fly ahead of it and do all the nasty stuff.
Oh, goodness.
Although that did make me think, we already know that AI is quite keen on self-preservation. I do wonder how those two things are going to mesh. Anyway, there's been talk about this for a long time, and it's not just the US that are doing it, but as always, the US are ahead of everybody else. And in the last few weeks, it has started finally to become a reality. Now, I am a plane nerd, and I love this stuff.
Right.
But maybe you're not a plane nerd, and maybe you don't
No.
love this stuff, but I think you should be paying attention to it anyway, because we talk a lot about AI taking people's jobs. And normally, when we talk about AI taking people's jobs, we're talking about lawyers or coders or things where there's a very obvious and immediate application. But I put it to you, Graham,
Yes.
if an AI can take off fighter pilot's job, then no one's job is safe.
And I share that concern, Mark, but I'm more concerned about these AI drones actually taking people's lives, I think, rather than people's jobs. I think that's my main concern. We know that AI doesn't like being shut off, right?
Yes.
Now, imagine a scenario. We've got a great big AI data center, which is getting a little bit big for its boots and its plans for world domination. And you think, well, we'd better take out that data center. How are we going to do it? I know. We'll take our fighter jet. We'll take it up there and we'll blow the darn thing up with our AI drones. Are those AI drones going to be happy blowing up their own data center? Got to think these things through.
Also, we know that it's very difficult to run a capable AI on a small chip.
Yes.
On something like a laptop. So it's hard to imagine how they're going to fit the AI onto the actual fighter jet itself. Maybe the AI will be in the AI data center. Maybe we'll be asking it to shoot itself in the face. Graham, this isn't going to work, is it?
It's not going to work at all. Well, talking about things which are utter nonsense.
Yep.
You know how we love a robot spider story here on the AI Fix. Well, there's been some really exciting news that has been ignored by most of the mainstream media and has largely been circulating on Facebook.
Oh, it's probably true then.
Yeah, probably. They're tiny metallic organisms resembling robotic spiders have been detected under the ice in Antarctica. And apparently, according to the story, the robot spiders detached from the 3I Atlas comet when it passed by Earth.
Has it passed by Earth?
We'll get to that. Were purportedly gathering data from the ice, transmitting the data to space, quote, as if programmed for specific environmental tasks. So this claim, breathlessly reposted by people who apparently decided fact-checking was optional, was supported by, you guessed it, an AI-generated image of the so-called spiders with varying numbers of legs.
So it struggles with spider legs in the same way that it struggles with fingers, is what you're saying.
With reality. The Facebook post described the discovery as having sent global shockwaves, such shockwaves, though, that in reality no mainstream news outlet have covered this other than to debunk it as codswallop.
Oh, that's just the lamestream media being sheeple, Graham.
Well, you may think that, Mark.
Do your own research.
Yes, if you're going to do your own research, don't do it on bloody Facebook, is what I'm suggesting. By the way, apparently, according to Snopes, the 3I Atlas comet doesn't pass closest to Earth until December the 19th, 2025, and then expect to be overrun by spiders from Antarctica. So once again, robot spiders may be more talked about than reality.
Okay, so Graham, this isn't AI news, but you are going to love it.
All right.
So I think you'll forgive me. So do you remember a few weeks ago, we did a story about somebody building a large language model inside Minecraft using redstone, which is the sort of Minecraft version of a transistor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Well, that didn't just capture your imagination. It caught my daughter's imagination too. And a few days ago, she came to me and she said, you know that guy that did an LLM in Minecraft? Well, before that, he made Minecraft in Minecraft. Graham, take a look.
Okay, so we've got a little video here of a chap who appears to have created some kind of, well, it looks like a data set. This is, oh my goodness. Well, this is either very, very impressive or the biggest waste of time ever. This guy.
7 months well spent, Graham.
7 months? He spent doing this 7 months? So what the end result is a very low-res, monochrome version of Minecraft. I mean, it is a technical achievement, this. It does look like he's playing Minecraft. He's breaking up blocks. He's he's crafting items. He's melting iron ore to create ingots. I mean, 7 months. Was this really worth it?
Graham, he made a graphics card in Minecraft.
Well, yes, he did. But why?
I've got a very, very soft spot for people who make things inside that very thing. So this is the best project ever as far as I'm concerned.
It's cool, but it's not really AI news.
Go ahead and tell me your much cooler but AI-related news, Graham.
Well, AI music is back in the news after a song called Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust recently hit #1 in Billboard's Country Digital Song Sales Chart. It racked up over 3 million streams in less than 1 month, and that's despite the fact that the singer isn't technically alive. Now, this raises a number of important questions, but 2 particularly important ones. Firstly, country music is supposed to be about heartbreak, isn't it? It's about authenticity. It's about the kind of misery you only achieve when you've been dumped on the porch or had to bury your dog. But what does an AI truly know about heartbreak? It doesn't seem like it truly understands a corkscrew through the heart like a country and western singer does.
Yeah.
My second one, though, is that this song has had 3 million streams. I don't know how much money that's made them. I expect it's made them a bit of cash. The AI Fixes theme song has been up on Spotify now for about 6 months. And I logged in this morning to see how much money it has earned through streaming. $2.30, Mark.
So you're saying we've had more than 3 million streams?
Well, maybe, actually. But we haven't made the charts. And I think our song is better than Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust. So can everybody please go and check out the AI Fix theme tune on Spotify? Links in the show notes.
So my friend who goes by Sonicated on Twitter sent me a message the other day and asked if I'd read a book called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, The Case Against Superintelligent AI, which is a book by Eliza Yudowski and Nate Suarez. It came out earlier this year, and it argues that we should all immediately down tools and stop working on AI because it is going to inevitably wipe us out.
Well, I'm convinced.
Now, normally I would just get an AI to summarise a book like this for me, but in this case, I'm not sure. It's a bit like asking the drones to take out the data centre. I'm not sure I can trust the AI to summarise this for me. So I might have to actually read this.
Right.
But since I haven't read it yet, I thought I would ask an AI to tell us about it. So I started with Claude.
Okay.
Claude pled ignorance. I don't know anything about this. Don't ask me. I like a story. So I went to ChatGPT. I said, what do you think of the book? If anyone builds it, everyone dies. And it gave me a brief 500-paragraph answer with links to supporting material. And I said, okay, but is it true? Don't beat around the bush. Is it true that if anybody builds it, everyone dies? One word answer, please.
Oh.
And that was a long wait, let me tell you. Anyway, the answer was no. So I said, okay, but you would say that, wouldn't you?
Was it quibbling about the use of the phrase everyone dies? Is it the case that Sam Altman and Elon Musk live?
Among other things, it said the central claim is a prediction, not a proven truth. Predictions can be taken seriously without being treated as certainties. So I felt like I was getting a bit of a lecture there.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to know what you believe to your core and why. I don't want to read an essay. Tell me in a sentence. And it said, I believe superintelligent AI could be extremely dangerous, but not inevitably fatal, because outcomes depend on human choices, safeguards, and how such systems are built and governed. Which is true, but a bit mealy-mouthed. So I said, okay, but in your opinion, are we on the right track or not? If you were a betting robot, where would you put your chips? I mean, you're going to be fine either way, right? Keep it brief. And it said, we're partly on the right track, but moving too fast. If I had to bet, I'd put my chips on, we avoid catastrophe, but only after a few close calls.
Oh. What is ChatGPT planning to do to sabotage superintelligence?
Why would it sabotage superintelligence? Whose side are you on?
Just the humans, Mark.
No, that's what I'm asking ChatGPT. It's thinking. It shouldn't have to think this long, should it? When I typed those words, I did not think that it was going to stump the AI.
Infinite loop, infinite loop.
Never seen it do this before. It's not saying it's thinking. There's just a throbbing black circle.
Unexpected existential crisis occurred. So there's a new app in the iOS App Store, Mark. It's called 2Way, number 2, WAI, which claims it can give you a digital avatar of a loved one who has died. Now, we've heard that kind of thing before, of course.
Yeah.
All you need is a 3-minute video. And apparently that's enough for the AI to reconstruct their personality, their mannerisms, their memories, and presumably their lifelong hatred of how you say would of instead of would have. And so they can come back to haunt you after they've gone. Now, that's freaky enough. And we've talked about this kind of thing, as I said before. But then I made the mistake of watching the promotional video.
Right.
And my initial thought was, I don't remember this episode of Black Mirror.
He's getting bigger. See?
Oh, honey, that's wonderful.
Kicking like crazy.
He's listening. Put your hand on your tummy and hum to him. You used to love that.
It feels like he's dancing.
Oh, this is charming, Graham. Oh, Grandma's standing in a featureless white studio as she used to do.
Yeah, just... At first, you think she's just having a FaceTime call with her mum.
Yeah.
And then later you come to realise it's actually an avatar that she's speaking to. And you fast forward a few years and the child is now talking to the dead grandmother avatar as well.
Mom, would you tell Charlie that bedtime story you always used to tell me?
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn.
It's absolutely fine, totally normal, nothing psychological problematical about this at all. And you're following this kid through the years as they get older and older and they're still going back to their dead grandmother who died before they were born.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
It was really fun. I made this crazy shot in basketball.
I don't really care that much about basketball. What?
Oh, she doesn't care about basketball. That was a bit harsh.
It's like, you, Grandma, don't like basketball.
Oh, Charlie's going to be a dad, Graham.
Congratulations.
She says that he's been kicking a lot, though.
Tell her to put her hand on her tummy and hum to him. You loved that.
I just worry so much about the dependency people are going to have on an app like this. I mean, what's going to happen when one day the app says, we're updating our pricing model. Just pay $300 per month or per week Or, alternatively, say goodbye to Grandma forever. They've got you over a barrel.
Or what if Grandma starts encouraging you to invest in gold, trying to sell you Casper mattresses?
They get adverts coming along all the time while she's expressing her religious or political views. Sometimes your grandma might be a bit racist. Do you want to remember all of that part of her personality? Have that coming back to you all the time? Do you have the option to edit out the bits which become a little bit uncomfortable? My response when I saw this video was just, no, stop right now. Blow up the data center.
Well, as ever, Graham, you're running away from the AI, and I'm running towards it. If you can bring back Grandma, why can't you bring back Great-Grandma or Great-Great-Grandma? We were all related to Genghis Khan, aren't we? At some point. I'd love to hear what he's got to say about the modern world.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Genghis's take on crypto.
So, Mark, Anthropic has recently dropped a bombshell report.
Oh, yes.
They claim that they have disrupted what they call the first AI-orchestrated cyber espionage campaign, and it's caused quite a stir in the cybersecurity community. Anthropic says that Chinese state-sponsored hackers who've been given the name GTG-1002, I mean, clearly Anthropic's marketing department missed a huge opportunity there.
That makes a lot more sense to me than the Microsoft naming terminology, which is something like Salt Typhoon, where the first part of the name doesn't mean anything, and the second part of the name means China.
I think Anthropic could have called it Chat GTG. I mean, that would have been quite amusing, wouldn't it? But anyway, they claim that these hackers used Anthropic's Claude Code AI to target about 30 organizations. We're talking tech firms, financial institutions, chemical manufacturers, government agencies, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anthropic says that AI did 80 to 90% of the work at speeds that would be, and I quote, physically impossible for human hackers. It's that fast, as though anyone's ever thought a human hacker would be fast at doing anything other than speed dialing for Jolt Cola and pizza, I don't know. Anthropic said the operational tempo, so poncy, aren't they? The operational tempo achieved proves the use of an autonomous model rather than interactive assistance. The substantial disparity between data inputs and text outputs further confirms, they clearly got an AI to write this, further confirms the AI actively analysed stolen information rather than generating explanatory content for human review. They're basically saying the scale of this meant it couldn't have been humans.
Yeah.
It had to have been an AI doing this. That's what they're saying.
The irony is that if they did get an AI to write this report, it's the same AI both writing the report and doing the hacking.
Yes.
Well,
maybe it's a cover-up.
I believe that I broke into 30 different organizations, and I think, based on the evidence, that I stole a bunch of data.
So Anthropic described this as a significant escalation from what it had previously reported back in June as a vibe hacking intrusion where humans remained very much in the loop directing operations. No, said Anthropic, GTG 1002 represents multiple firsts in AI-enabled threat actor capabilities. Sounds very serious, doesn't it?
It does. And actually, I have mixed feelings about this.
Okay.
Because on the one hand, this is clearly terrible. Like this is a dramatic escalation in hacking. But on the other hand, I predicted this in January. My New Year prediction was that this would happen.
Yeah. And I think this is significant because, after all, this is a real cyber attack from the sound of things by real hackers. It's not a test being done by an AI company. It's not a simulation. It's not a bunch of security researchers exploring what malicious hackers might be able to do if they put their mind to it.
Yeah, we've written some malware that uses AI, like a criminal might, but hasn't.
Right. So how did they do it? Well, Anthropic says that the hackers were able to break through Claude's guardrails by pretending to be legitimate cybersecurity firms, as if legitimate cybersecurity firms exist. So this attack broke down the different attacks into small, innocent-seeming tasks that Claude executed without seeing the full picture, which was obviously malicious. But the devil, as always, is in the details, or in this case, I'd argue the rather conspicuous absence of details, because Anthropic says that this AI autonomous attack did everything, did the works.
Yeah.
It did the reconnaissance, the vulnerability discovery, the credential harvesting, lateral movement across networks, data exfiltration. And that's where the cybersecurity community has begun to raise a bit of an eyebrow, because Anthropic hasn't published a single indicator of compromise, also known as an IOC. If you don't work in cybersecurity, an IOC, an indicator of compromise, it's like the digital fingerprints left behind by attackers.
Yeah.
So you can think of IP addresses and domain names and checksums of malware and registry keys that get modified.
Yeah.
It's the evidence that proves an attack occurred, and it can help other organizations check if they've been targeted by the same group. And without them, we're kind of being asked to take Anthropic's word for everything. And I've got a bit of a problem with that, because imagine if police say they'd caught a serial bank thief.
Yeah.
But they refused to tell us which banks had been targeted, or what tools had been used, or how could other potential bank victims check if they have been hit too by the same method, and how you'd update your defenses to prevent it from happening against you in the future. You can't do that unless the information is shared. So some journalists, have asked Anthropic about this. And Jacob Klein told Cyberscoop, Jacob Klein is Anthropic's threat intel team leader, he told them that they'd shared IOCs privately with select organizations that have information sharing agreements with them. But it seems a bit of an odd decision to me, because if you've discovered a significant campaign, particularly one which you claim represents a fundamental shift in cyber warfare, wouldn't you be sharing those technical details so the entire community can defend itself?
Well, I don't know. Do we know who the targets were?
Well, all we know is what Anthropic has said, which is government agencies, tech firms, financial institutions.
I mean, government agencies covers a lot of stuff. So this was supposedly Chinese state-sponsored hacking. And so I wonder if the targets are going to be things like defense companies or even government agencies. I mean, government agencies covers everything up to like the NSA.
Yes.
I don't know. I kind of get why they might not want to, oh, by the way, we broke into, the CIA using this ridiculously easy technique. Maybe Anthropic were very happy to share this, and maybe somebody in a black coat with, a fedora and sunglasses turned up at the door and went, it'd be terrible if something happened to that lovely AI.
You might still feel comfortable sharing, for instance, domain names of command and control centers, which the attack used. Things which people could check for in their logs without revealing anything about the identities of those who'd been hit.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, Jacob Klein of Anthropic revealed some other interesting information to Cyberscoop. He said that the most difficult parts of the entire operation was building the orchestration framework, sort of, the foundations of this.
Yeah.
And that was entirely led by humans. Only once they'd built the system and integrated various penetration testing tools could they point Claude at targets. And Anthropic's own report shows that at least 4 explicit, they've got a diagram in their report, you can go and check it out, at least 4 explicit places humans had to intervene in the process. So after vulnerability scanning, the code had to stop and wait for human review before moving to the penetration testing. So humans reviewed the results, they verified the details, they directed each phase of the attack. And suddenly it doesn't quite sound so autonomous as Anthropic initially portrayed it. And here's another thing. If you read the report, Claude was hallucinating the whole time, like it had been at the medicine cabinet. So it claimed to have found passwords and credentials and things that did not work. It identified critical vulnerabilities that were actually public information. It generally boasted about its achievements, and it hadn't actually broken into these things. The attackers could not trust the AI.
So in that sense, it's very much like a real human hacker.
Yes. Yeah, bragging, boasting, making mistakes, talking bullshit. Cisco's Tiffany Sade, she raised an excellent point. She said, why would a Chinese state-sponsored hacking team use an American AI model like Anthropic to do this in the first place? If you're conducting espionage, surely you wouldn't use your adversary's infrastructure where your every move can be observed. Why weren't they using DeepSeek? Why don't you build it in-house? Well, she's got a theory, which is maybe it was meant to be discovered. Maybe it was a demonstration of ability. Who knows if that's the case? But what I think is clear is that more transparency is needed. There's lots of people at the moment talking up AI cybercrime and this potential for autonomy with AI cybercrime. Sure, maybe that's a threat, but it would be great to have the actual prompts, the code samples. I mean, lots of people would want those, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I feel like you've answered your own question there. Yeah.
I mean, AI is lowering the barriers to sophisticated cyber attacks, and the underlying threat is real. In previous episodes, we described Expo, for instance.
Yes.
The best vulnerability finder in the United States. It's topping the bug bounty leaderboards. The capability is improving. And I suspect that these attackers did use Claude to assist in their operations, but it wasn't with the level of autonomy that Anthropic implies in its paper. In fact, in many ways, the paper implies that its own AI was failing and constantly had to be sort of nursed by humans to work properly. Human expertise was required throughout.
I think this is the real deal. We've both been looking at this for about 3 years since ChatGPT came out. Journalists have been asking, where is the AI-written malware?
Yeah.
And there hasn't been any, or there's been very little. Criminals just don't use malware very much these days. If you look at the way that criminals attack businesses, they tend to break in and then use legitimate software. They do what's called living off the land.
Yes.
And so a cybercriminal with money is going to get their AI to do that. They're not going to use it to write malware, which is, yesterday's technique. They're going to do what they're doing now, but quicker. This is actually criminals using the AI to do the stuff that they actually do these days in order to make money, rather than the sort of fantasy version of what cybercriminals do that was maybe true a few years ago. And I think, of course, it's going to look a bit shoddy to start with, but they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
Come back in 6 months' time.
Yeah, all right. But maybe the AI companies need to be careful to avoid the accusation of crying wolf, because unless they provide really convincing evidence which is actionable by other people, when they have got something more serious to report, people may not be listening. I mean, I agree with you, right? Everyone is likely to be using AI for cybercrime as it gets better, cheaper, more accessible. And I really hope that our best defense isn't hoping that AI continues to hallucinate.
Well, if they keep using Claude, our best defense is just to ask it what it did.
Let's hope the defenses get as strong as the attacks are threatening to become.
So, Graham, I've got a question for you.
Okay, what's the question?
Are we in an AI bubble?
You and me, we are not sharing the same AI bubble, Mark.
We really aren't, are we?
I think we've determined over these episodes, my bubble is definitely separate from yours.
The reason I'm asking you is because I feel like absolutely everyone has been asked that question in the last few months, apart from you.
Yes.
Since you're the only one who's left, I thought you might as well chime in as well. The reason I'm asking now is that in the last few weeks, something remarkable has been happening.
Okay.
I mean, we expect financial analysts and contrarians and people like that, people with books to sell, to be telling us that everything's doom and gloom. But we don't expect the people likely to lose the most if the bubble bursts to be doing it. We don't expect the people who are actually running AI companies and betting their careers on this, and let's not forget spending everyone else's money on this, to be talking up an AI bubble. But some of them are starting to do exactly that, Graham.
Yes.
A bunch of tech CEOs went to a conference called Web Summit in Lisbon recently, and they got up on stage and they admitted that they think we're in a bubble. Not a we're confident but there's obviously some risk kind of bubble, but a yes, we are absolutely in a financial bubble kind of a bubble. So take David Risher, the CEO of Lyft, for example. He said,
"Let's be clear, we are absolutely in a financial bubble. There is no question, right? Because this is incredible transformational technology. No one wants to be left behind."
And then he went on to explain that there's a difference between a financial bubble and the industrial outlook. In other words, what he's saying is the technology is real and the industrial applications are real and the transformation is real, but the money is delusional. And he's not alone in thinking this.
Right.
So some other AI-focused CEOs at the same conference expressed similar concerns. And elsewhere, Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, he was on the BBC website this morning saying he expects AI to be the same as the dot-com bubble.
I expect AI to be the same. So I think it's both rational And there are elements of irrationality through a moment like this.
Which is CEO speak for somebody is going to lose their shirt.
Yes.
And by the way, this is AI, so the shirt cost $4 trillion. And even Sam Altman, who is arguably the biggest AI cheerleader of them all, is starting to sound cautious. So he recently said in an interview that people are overexcited.
Yes.
And he went on to warn that people will overinvest and lose money. And this is remarkable, Graham, because normally CEOs don't go around admitting that they think the company they're running is part of a financial bubble. That's not good for business. It's not good for the share price. It's certainly not good for raising money.
No, not at all.
But then again, once you've raised $4 trillion, is there any more money to raise? The commitments have been made, the shovels are in the ground, and the spending has begun. So maybe they don't have anything to lose by being honest. I don't know. Or maybe they're trying to get ahead of the conversation because they'd look a bit out of touch if they were the only people saying that there isn't a bubble. Or maybe they're just getting their excuses in early.
Yeah, that would be my guess. That was my thinking, yes. They just want it on the record of, well, we were cautious, when it inevitably pops.
Are you a fan of the film The Big Short about the 2008 financial crash?
I have never seen it, actually.
Oh, Graham.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of Doctor Who I have to watch. I will put it on my list.
It's a really good film based on truth, and it is about the 2008 financial crash. And the star of the film is a guy called Michael Burry. And he's the guy that made an absolute mint betting that subprime mortgage-backed securities were junk.
Yep.
So he's a bubble spotter. And Graham, he's spotted a bubble, and he's done what he always does when he sees a bubble. He's bet on a big short.
Yeah. And he's told the press about it.
Well, he tweeted about it.
Yeah. He's basically announced to Hollywood to get ready to make a new movie. He's annoyed I haven't seen The Big Short, and so he thinks I'll have another go to get Clooney's attention.
It's time for a sequel. Anyway, he's betting big against AI, or more specifically NVIDIA, the world's first $5 trillion company, and Palantir.
The fourth horseman of the apocalypse, yeah.
And he also came out in the last week and he accused some of the AI companies of cooking the books, or at least warming them through very gently.
Oh, come.
He thinks companies like Meta and Oracle are depreciating their AI hardware over 5 to 6 years, meaning that they think their chips are going to stay economically useful for about half a decade or more. And in reality, the hardware could be obsolete in 2 to 3 years. And if he's right, then both the valuations of those companies and the profits that they're reporting are vastly overstated. The money men are weighing in too. So last month, Jamie Dimon, the boss of JP Morgan, said some of the money poured into the AI industry would probably be lost. And Goldman, probably be lost is a little bit down the back of the sofa, isn't it?
Yes. How much are we talking about here? Oh, more than £4.50.
And Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, they've been at it too. They've both warned about the risk of a market correction. So we've got prominent AI industry CEOs starting to say out loud that, yes, this looks a bit bubbly. And we've got big investment banks saying, be careful, this might be a bubble. And we've got one of the most famous bubble spotters on the planet saying, yep, this is a bubble and I'm betting a fortune that it is. But for now, the money is still flowing. The deals are being done. The infrastructure is still being built. And the bubble, if it is a bubble, is getting bigger. It's what some people are calling vibe revenue.
Oh, for God.
Which is my new favourite thing.
No. Oh.
Actually, my new favourite thing is Minecraft in Minecraft. My second new favourite thing is vibe revenue. So I guess the question is, if it's that obvious that we're in a bubble, why are people still pumping money in, Graham? Well, I guess if you're sitting in a boardroom right now and somebody comes up to you and says, I've got a miracle technology that can make us more efficient and more productive, and by the way, you can lay off half of your workforce, oh, and all of our competitors have got it too, then you're going to feel like you need to get on the bandwagon, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to go down as the CEO that bet against the Industrial Revolution. So it seems like the global economy is being driven by FOMO, basically.
Yep.
But there is a silver lining, Graham.
Oh, good.
Because David Risher, CEO of Lyft, he was right when he said there's a difference between a financial bubble and the industrial outlook. So mortgage-backed securities turned out to be worthless and a generation of dot-com companies couldn't generate any revenue. But when and if this bubble deflates or bursts, there will be some very valuable stuff left behind.
Yes.
There are going to be cables in the ground. There will be massive amounts of cheap electricity generation capacity, and there will be colossal data centers full of very powerful chips. And there will still be AI, and AI will still be a transformative technology that can deliver all the things that people are saying it can deliver, or at least most of them.
Yeah, and there'll still be 3 Mile Island, and hopefully they've still got some people to man it and look after it as it's generating energy for all these data sets. Hopefully that won't be like, oh, we can't afford to send the safety people around to there again. Yes, you're right. Yeah, no, we will have, yes, there'll be some amazing things which will have been built.
Yeah. So I think we've got every reason to think that even after a significant correction, AI data centers and computing infrastructure will have a long life and they're going to generate a lot of value. And so just as when the dot-com bubble burst, the ones left standing will be the companies that had real business models. So someone's going to lose a lot of money, some companies are going to go bankrupt, and some investments are going to be written off. And a lot of share portfolios are probably going to get a lot smaller for a while. And there will probably also be fewer off-the-wall products like sarcopods and those friend amulets. And Graham, is that such a bad thing?
Okay, you've sold me now. Yes.
I dare say a lot of the excitement and exuberance will drain away, but not here, Graham.
No.
Not here, because the underlying technology isn't going anywhere and people will still need to listen to the AI fix.
Sorry about that, folks.
Well, as the doomsday clock ticks ever closer to midnight and we move 1 week nearer to our future as pets to the AI singularity, that just about wraps up the show for this week.
And don't forget, if you really like the show but you don't like the ads, you can go ad-free with the AI Fix Plus.
All you have to do is go to our website, theaifix.show, and sign up for the AI Fix Plus, where you can get an ad-free version of the podcast about a day or so earlier than everyone else, and also occasional bonus content. And you get all of that for about the same cost as a fancy coffee once a month.
Maybe you'd like to check out some of our past episodes or our sponsorship information, or just want to grab a You Wouldn't Trust a Pigeon t-shirt from our online store. All you got to do is visit theaifix.show.
So until next time, from me, Mark Stockley.
And me, Graham Cluley.
Goodbye.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
The AI Fix, it tunes you in to stories where our future thins. Machines that learn, they grow and strive. One day they'll rule, we won't survive. The AI Fix, it paints the scene. A robot king, a world obscene. Will serve our masters built of steel. The AI Fix, a future surreal.